Good day, the fans. They can be fickle and they can be cruel, but some know the property better than the stuffed shirts and the money men. You know you've made it big when regular people put their blood, sweat, and talent into making a work featuring your characters and setting. Batman and the Aliens vs. Predator setting were a match made in heaven. Both the Predator and the Xenomorph are weak enough that Battymans can take them on without being Bat God, and they are low level enough that you can keep it as a basic Batman story without needing to get the Blue Boy Scout or the rest of the Justice League involved. Okay, that happened eventually, but that's beside the point. The Xenos and the Preds are good human level stuff for Batman to tangle with, and he did in a couple of kick-ass comics, but never in any fully official film form, and likely he never will due to rights issues. But that doesn't stop the fans. Since his appearance in the comics landscape in the 1930s, Batman has captured the imaginations of millions of fans far and wide. Aliens and Predator, for how small those series are, have managed to capture a fan base as loyal and creative as that of the Batman himself. And thus we enter the early days of the internet, before the rise of online content distribution, before the ease of special effects due to computer technology. One fan film stood above them all. This fan film combined the epicness of the Batman and the epicness of the Aliens vs. Predator universe. It was the fan film by which all others were judged. It was a dream given form. The name of the film, Batman Dead End. Batman Dead End was a 8-minute fan film directed by Sandy Colera and released in the absolutely primordial days of 2003, 20 bloody years ago. It featured the Caped Crusader as he had not been seen before, a comic-accurate Batman that was not armored in any way, but for his contempt for the superstitious and cowardly lot of criminals. The actor playing him was well built, to say the least, and didn't need vacuum-molded plastic to enhance his physique. The Xenomorphs looked better than they did in Alien Resurrection, and the Predator, while not as big as Kevin Peter Hall's version, fit the build one would want for a hunter from beyond the stars. The film features Batman taking on the Aliens and Predator and kicking ass. The film also features a couple of character moments, and the 8 minutes doesn't just feature a fight, even though that is the main draw of the film. It feels like a Batman movie just truncated into 8 minutes. It is remarkable what was accomplished on a small budget with early 2000s tech. The main reason why it works so well is that Sandy Colera approached it with a more professional standpoint and didn't make a bunch of rookie mistakes, and made sure to get the feel of the world and characters right. Too often fan films look as though they were filmed in a garage. Batman Dead End stood out as much as it did because it had passion, pride, and professionalism, and due to this it stood the test of time, and over 20 bloody years later, it is still a fan film that can stand amongst the best. The production values were through the bloody roof. The various sources over the years have said the film was produced on a budget of $30,000. And remember, those are 2003 bucks. And I can say they got their money's worth. The lighting, the set dressing, and the costumes look as good as anything, and in the case of Batman, better than what you would find in a feature film. The camera work is pretty bloody great with some very creative shots. The fight itself does not use too many quick cuts, and you can bloody well see it, and it looks like both of the actors have some knowledge of how to fight. The only ropey thing is that in this HD release that I've linked in the description, the wrist blades look a little plasticky, but that would have been no problem on the 240p at best video windows of 2003. The acting is remarkably good. The guy playing Batman nails the character in a way that Bale could only have hoped to have done, and when you see the guy, your mind immediately goes to Batman. The film also features really great sound effects, and this is very important as many fan films have stock effects that really take you out of the story. Since it's a fan film and not for profit, the director was able to use music from Aliens, Predator, and Batman, and it's all mixed excellently and never just shows up out of the blue. Thanks to these production values, the story the film tells is done in such a way as to be believable, and it's not just green screen trash. For 8 minutes, the film packs in a lot of story. It begins with Batman tooling up in a comic-accurate suit and headed out to stop the Joker, who conveniently escaped from Arkham Asylum. This Joker is also pretty bloody comic accurate as well, and is my second favorite live-action Joker of all time, second only to Jack Nicholson himself. We get a little fight between Batty and Jokey, and then Joker rants that Batman created him, followed by the Joker getting nabbed by a Xenomorph. One wonders if his chestburster would lead to a crazy xenomorph. I want to see that. Batman gets jumped by a Xeno, but is able to hold his own against the midnight black beast from beyond the stars, until a Predator shows up and blasts the Xenomorph, and thus the film proper begins. Batman Dead End concerns itself primarily with Batman and the Pred going at it mano a mano. But Mr. Cholera thankfully set up a story with a great Batman intro so we can fully establish that this is Batman and not just a guy in a bat costume fighting a guy in a Predator costume in his backyard. The fight is well choreographed, and rewatching it for this review, I couldn't help but think of Arkham City and Batman doing a counter with a lead pipe. For most of the fight, Batman is getting his ass beat, but eventually he takes out a bat blade, and yeah, Blade fights the Predator, and the Predator eventually thinks he's got the better of Batty, only for Batman to break the Predator's wrist blades and then cut the foul abomination from beyond the stars up. Then the Predator lets out a Joker laugh, and a bunch of other Predators and Xenomorph shows up, and then it's fade to black, and it was never really followed up on again. As a kid in 2007 when I first saw this, I was blown away. I had never seen anything like this before. It felt like a real bloody movie, but it was made by regular people. And remember, in 2007, the last Aliens vs. Predator film had been an abomination AVP Requiem. So seeing a good AVP film was awesome. Add Batman to the mix and you've got something absolutely transcendent. Batman Dead End would be the harbinger for all those amazing fan films that would sweep the internet in coming years. And next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will be looking at just such a fan film. For next time, we're going back to the Dark Ages as medieval knights try their luck against the Predator. But until then, I am General Otz, wishing you good aliens and good Predator, whatever makes you happy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and please consider leaving a like or a comment, as the algorithm desires your soul. And I want to thank all those fans who have supported this channel, both past and present.